because the retailers have become very strict in terms of listings because they want to know what the product is.
Sure.
Now, of course, every buyer would like to understand what the product is, but it is very important that we need to highlight in a very short time to the buyer what are the unique points of the product. When a distributor comes to a retailer, the retailer wants a full package.
Sure.
Okay, when I say full package, in the sense the retailer wants to understand why you want to list the brand. If I list the brand, what would be my margin?
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
and definitely because the bigger brands has more power to squeeze the retailers. So of course the new brand has to offer something more. So
True.
in terms of margin, it has to be higher as compared to the top brand. The product has to be unique. You need to go with a bundle of what are the activities you are going to do with it. Has to be a very good business plan, and not the business plan at the time of launch. Every year you have to have a business plan, what you are going to do in each month, each quarter, or each year, from the consumer activity to marketing.
Hi everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to the new episode of Liv Satviko Talks. Today we have with us Mr. Sandeep Himnani from Dubai. Hi Sandeep ji, good afternoon. How are you?
Very good afternoon, Dhaval.
How are you, sir?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me, Dhaval.
Awesome.
uh, it has been great in touch with you for last couple of days, and I'll be more than happy to associate with you and help in the industry in whichever best way I can do.
Awesome.
So I'm more than happy to share the views and ideas based on
Great.
your request.
Really appreciate your time that you came on this show. So viewers, I'll quickly introduce Mr. Sandeep Himnani to all of you, and then we can accordingly take it forward. So, Mr. Sandeep Kimnani is a seasoned FMCG professional with a rich experience of more than 2 decades in organized retail, international business, and with a large distribution house. Currently, he is the President International Business at Mother's Recipe and looking after more than 45 countries globally. During his association with Choithrams in UAE as a country head, Sandeep had developed more than 75 plus brands across various categories and more than 500 products in the private label segment. He has been a speaker also at various international forums and missions such as USDA, Austrade, Brazil, Canada, UK, and a few more. He was also a committee member at Choithram Commercial GCC Strategy. So, Sandeep ji, of course, great profile and really appreciate having you on this session. So, coming down to my first question, uh, since you have a diversified experience across retail distribution, both in modern trade, general trade, so I mean, what are those key questions which every retailer asks when considering a product or a brand for their stores?
A very good question, Devil, because currently the supermarket has become the real estate, because
Absolutely.
the number of products on the shelf has become so many that it has now become very important not only for retailer but even for a distributor when they choose a brand or a product to place in the trade, because the retailers have become very strict in terms of listings because they want to know what the product is.
Sure.
Now, of course, every buyer would like to understand what the product is, but it is very important that we need to highlight in a very short time to the buyer what are the unique points of the product. So when I say unique point, it is unique selling points. So
Right.
it is very important that our product has to be very unique versus the competition, because if you are going to a me too product, the chances are that the product will not find a space in the category until and unless you are a big brand or a
Right.
national brand or international big players. So it is very important that the retailer has to know that what is the USB of the product, how the brand you are going to introduce is going to add value to his business,
Sure. Mhm.
because there is no space left in the supermarket now. So if the buyer decides to add one more brand, he has to remove something.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so by removing something, they want to add something which gives a higher value of returns.
Yes.
Not only in terms of expensive product, that's not doesn't mean that we need to supply the expensive product, but we need to supply the product which will sell more. The you can say fast moving goods.
Sure.
So that is very important. The second thing is that the retailer will say, who is your competitor in the category?
Mhm.
Okay, and if you say that X brand is my competitor, then the next question is that how you are going to compete against them. What are the new strategies you are going to do against them?
Mhm.
How your products are different than them? And when a distributor comes to a retailer, the retailer wants a full package.
Sure.
Okay, when I say full package, in the sense the retailer wants to understand why you want to list the brand. If I list the brand, what would be my margin?
Mhm.
Because
Okay.
and definitely because the bigger brands has more power to squeeze the retailers. So of course the new brand has to offer something more. So
True.
in terms of margin, it has to be higher as compared to the top brand. The product has to be unique. You need to go with a bundle of what are the activities you are going to do with the
Sure.
retailer. So
Sure.
let's say if you have listed a product, and if you are going to keep it on the shelf, the chances are that in next 3 months you will see the product is already died. Okay, because if you don't do an activity, there are chances that the product is going to be failed.
And that
and,
has to
and
be done, I mean, consistently, right? It's not only that you have to do it only in the initial phase, but that has to be done consistently, right?
see, yes, of course what you are saying is correct. The point is that it has to be done on consistent basis. But initially the efforts, the cost, the approach is more.
Mhm.
And slowly, once you are established brand, the activities has to continue, but
Sure.
then it has to done in a different way. Because
Right.
initially, when you launch a new brand, first of all, you need to have a unique product. You
Right.
need to have you have to offer a better margin to a retailer in the
Mhm.
category. on
Right.
top of on top of it, you have to take a primary and secondary displays. I hope you what I mean by primary and secondary, you understand what primary
Yes.
is, the category display, and secondary is the off shelf displays.
Yes.
So and then you have to do a sampling activities. You need to participate with the retailer on the leaflet promotions.
Mhm.
Okay, and you have to create within and outside store the events
Mhm.
to capture your brand image.
Right.
Okay, and then you have to do some kind of a exclusive consumer promotion with the retailer. You need
Mhm.
to do theme based promotions. So
Sure.
the theme based promotions are also very important. If you can do a cross branding, uh, at the same time while you're launching, you have to be on social media.
Right.
If you are part of the influencers, so all these things will help your brand to grow. Okay,
Mhm.
and the retailer will also find it interesting, that saying that you are doing a 360-degree approach. When you're launching a brand, you're just not placing the another product on the shelf.
Correct.
Because placing another product is very simple, and the retailer gets tired, and then in the next 3 months you're out of the market. So
Right.
if you don't do the activities, there are chances that you will have a lot of struggles.
Mhm.
So when you go to a, even up to that extent, that even if you go to a retail outlet, you have to see very important thing, that where my product is displayed, which is location.
Sure.
Then you have to do marketing. Then you have to see the store layout and see
Mhm.
how and where I can do a cross branding.
Wow.
Okay, how the product is going to be appear. Okay, is my assortment better than the competition? Okay, and what is the bundle selling I'm giving it?
Sure. Okay.
So of course, all the aspects are very important when you launch the brand.
Right.
If you are not doing any kind of activity, there are chances that you are another brand who wants to get in, pay money for listings, and then go out, and that's it.
And that's the unfortunate part for any FMCG brand, right? I mean,
Yeah, today, as I told you, the list in the modern world, and India is catching up on that, is that getting your product listed is a cost.
Yes. Yes.
Is a cost. So in that aspect, it is very important that you need to be very serious players when you are launching the brand. Uh, I always call in my language that you have to come with an open heart,
Right.
not half-hearted approach.
Right.
So that is what I always say. If you do not want to come with a open heart strategy or policy, then the chances are that the product is going to be less successful. If your luck is good, it might work, but otherwise there are chances that you will struggle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Sandeepji, coming down to my next question, of course, I mean, since you have handled, I mean, hundreds of products, thousands of products across various categories in distribution, retail, and brand building. So, how important is it for a brand to come up with one of the best product packaging? I mean, both for the ethnic retail and the mainstream retail, both.
See, in today's world, packaging plays very important role.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, packaging, of course, has to be very attractive. When I say attractive, in Hindi we call "jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai."
Ji, absolutely.
So like what you see attracts the sales.
Right.
Okay, so that is very important, because your product packaging is the first impression to the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
So when if you see a consumer strategy or a study, when consumer passes any category, the time what they spend in that category is quite short.
Yes.
So if your product, you want them to be seeing the product, your packaging has to be very important.
True.
And if you ask my opinion, the packaging is important as the product itself.
Wow.
Because it is crucial marketing and communication tool for any business.
Correct.
So if your packaging, if your product is good and if your packaging is bad,
yeah,
then you are in the same dilemma.
Yeah.
Because the product packaging and the product taste has to be good. So, but before the consumer decides or make up the mind to buy the product, the first thing he or she sees is the packaging.
Yes.
And in if you see, the packaging attracts consumer and increases sales.
Mm-hmm.
So it also in some cases, packaging, if you have an excellent packaging, it also reduces the marketing and development cost of the product.
True.
Yeah. And in past, the companies were not focused on the product packaging.
Mm-hmm.
and it did not attract the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
And hence there was no purchase.
Mm-hmm.
So product packaging plays an important role for the consumer decision.
Got it.
Okay, the product communicates many things.
Mm-hmm.
From what the product can be, your customers, your company values, and a lot about the product.
Right.
So some people make a mistake of having a good product, good packaging, but when I say good packaging, in terms of artwork,
Mm-hmm.
but not in terms of a real product packaging.
Right.
So when you talk about the packaging, I talk about both, not only the artwork or design of the packaging, but also I talk about the packaging
The
of
packaging
the product
itself.
packaging itself.
Got
So
it.
because see, nowadays you need to go with a sustainable way,
Yes.
the packaging, because the world environment is moving towards a sustainable strategy.
Right.
So your
Right.
if you can make your product as sustainable as it is, then you are also adding the value to the environment, and you are adding to there are a lot of consumers who are also looking at in that way also. The more we are getting educated, the more things we want them to consider. So it is very crucial marketing communication tool for the business, both as a packaging type and the packaging artwork. So start thinking about your brand packaging and consider 4 important factors. How it differentiates your brands with others.
Okay.
Packaging colors relate to a consumer habits.
Okay, sure.
Okay. If then product packaging itself is a marketing tool. So
Yes.
highlight the facts of the product, and don't make it too much on the product, because if the simpler the product packaging is, better the brand is.
Right.
Packaging also creates a brand recognition,
Mm-hmm.
which is environment. And lastly, I've already covered the environment friendly sustainable packaging will be equally important as well.
Sure.
uh,
Sandeepji, I mean, since you have emphasized a lot on the environment friendly sustainable packaging, I have a follow-up question on this. So I mean, as a brand, it is really important to, I mean, consider all these factors. But if we look at from the consumer's perspective, because of course, such kind of packaging also at times become a little expensive, right? So
correct.
what is your take on this? I mean, what is your view in the sense that is it okay to charge a premium both in the ethnic retail as well as the mainstream retail, or what kind of strategy should a brand go for?
See, it all depends on the company to company, but I will never recommend two different packaging for two different channels.
Sure. Okay.
When I say two different packaging, in the sense, the packaging has to be the same, the pricing, the scheme, TLOs, trade schemes, that could differ.
Right.
Okay, but if you are thinking that for a modern trade I'll have a sustainable packaging, and for the general trade I would have a regular packaging, that's not recommended, because
Okay.
you're getting away from the brand values, because you're trying to confuse the customer by having two different packaging.
Yeah.
So my recommendation, it has to be a one packaging. And if you, even in today's world, you see whether it is Unilever, Procter and Gamble, Kellogg's, anybody today, everybody wants to move to a sustainable packaging,
Right.
because there is some responsibility of us towards the world
That's
and
right.
and nature.
Yes.
So if you are trying to get into a new brand, it is good way to start with a sustainable packaging. If you were an old brand, so in a slow manner, you should keep on evolving and change
Yes.
into a sustainable packaging in the phase manner. Okay, but any new category or any new brand, I would always recommend everyone to come with a sustainable packaging.
That's a great insight. Really appreciate it.
And definitely the strength of the overall packaging also keeps an important role, because if you have a good artwork, you have a good product, and your packaging is creating more damages during a shipments, because you see, when the manufacturer manufactures the product, it goes, before it comes to the end consumer's hand, at least 7 hands are changed.
I am sure. I am sure.
So it is very important that it has to prevent the damages as well.
True.
Because some people will create a good product, good packaging, but they don't focus on the strength of the outer packaging. When I say
Yes.
outer, the consumer selling unit, and
Yes.
as well as the outer packaging as a master carton.
Yeah.
So end up having a lot of damages. You have a great brand, you have a great product, but product on the shelf is found in the damaged condition.
Yeah.
So
that again, I mean, that hampers the brand, right? Because
yeah, of course.
awesome. So, Sandeepji, with your, I mean, extensive experience in procurement, what tips do you have for a growing brand having a promising product portfolio and wishes to enter into the international market?
Of course, most of the points I have already covered in the point number one, what you asked.
Yeah.
Of course, my always recommendation is that you need to make a business plan. The business plan consists of go-to-market strategy. So at what point you are going where, how, when, how, what, all those W's.
Sure.
So you have to ask the question first to yourself before making a go-to-market strategy. So go-to-market strategy is a combination of a good product, good packaging, taste profile, bundled of sales and marketing activities. I'm not saying that the first day you have to come up with 1+1 offer or 2+1 offer. No, that I don't mean that. When I say bundle offer is the strategy towards the sales and marketing activities to drive and promote the brand.
Sure.
You have to help retailers to increase the category pie. So see, all the category, if it is 100, how you are going to make sure that it is going to be 105 tomorrow?
Right.
Okay. So you have to think like a category captain.
That's a point.
Yeah. So if you are a new brand, I know you are smaller in front of the multinational brands, but don't get nervous about it. You have to, from the day one, you have to start thinking like a category captain and make your strategy of go-to-market approach in that manner. And when the retailer sees that, the retailer knows how important the brand is, how important the company is, and how serious they are about it.
Right.
Yeah. So my tip is very, very clear. It has to be a very good business plan, and not the business plan at the time of launch. Every year you have to have a business plan. What you are going to do in each month, each quarter, or each year. From the consumer activity to marketing. Of course, the smaller brands don't have much funds to do a lot of ATLs coming on TVs and so. But nowadays there are a lot of other medias where you can reduce your cost and come. And you have Facebook, you have Insta, you have LinkedIn, you have your influencers. So you go and do the strategy based on the market. Right. Yes, there is one approach which is a global approach. From the brand point of view, but you have to make one approach as a global approach. But then when you go to a different market, you have to slightly customize that approach into the market way. True. Because each market is different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And people like you know more than anybody else, because India itself is a continent.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. And in India, each state has a different purchase habits.
Yes.
Different way to look at the product.
Absolutely.
So experimenting in India, and then you have to go to you have to make an approach based on the market will help you. If you will say no, my global approach is the approach which I'm going to go with the same with every market, there are chances that you will succeed somewhere, you might not succeed somewhere. So yes, keep your global approach in mind, but twist and slightly turn based on the market requirements as well.
Right.
Okay, because each market plays a different way.
Absolutely.
So very, very important that we all should have strategies on a global based and as well as on the market based.
Sure. So Sandeep ji, I mean, I have really liked this point which you mentioned about the category captain thing, wherein the brand should really look for how to increase the category, right? Because what usually brands do is they look at, let's say if the category is 100, then how can they increase their market share or their category share, right? Out of that.
Of course.
But you have made an important point here that how to increase the category itself from 100 to let's say 105.
Yeah.
Maybe if you can elaborate more on this, this would be really helpful for the viewers.
See, now let's say we use an example of any category which is doing a business of 100. Okay. Now, and in that category, A category, there are 10 players,
right,
who are contributing towards that 100.
Sure.
Okay. Some would be contributing 25, some would contribute 5, or some would contribute 1.
True.
Okay. Now, of course, the tail, which is what we call the bottom 5%, are at a very high risk. The retailer will recommend them to be out at any time.
Yes.
Okay, so as soon as the new brand comes in, the retailer looks at the tail only
Right.
first,
Mhm.
and try to cut that tail and
Mhm.
enter the new brand. So when
Mhm.
the new brand is entered in the retail, now you have to say, okay, the category was 100. How can I help retailer to make that category tomorrow 205?
Mhm.
So you come up with the value added promotions, value added products, cross branding. You need to come up with promotions with with the retailer itself or the outlet level. So there are
Mhm.
many ways you can help the retailer to
Interesting.
grow, retailer to grow the category within that outlet or within their chain.
Awesome.
So, and if you help them increasing the pie size, they see you as a very serious player, despite you are a smaller one.
Right. It's an important point there.
Yeah, and your points would be too low
Mhm.
when you start, because there is a category captain already sitting with maybe 40% or 50% of the share in the category,
Yes.
and you
Yes.
might start with zero. So your share from zero, maybe the first month it should be half percent, then it should go to 0.751, and it has to go constantly upwards.
Right.
Then the retailer will say, yes, you are doing right approach, you
Yes.
have a very right strategy, very right approach to promote the brand.
Right. I think so. That's I mean, one basic learning from this is that, of course, then the brand should really work hand in hand with the retail
Hmm.
player and, of course, the channel partner also to
Yeah,
understand and see the growth strategy in terms of that category. That's really important.
absolutely, absolutely.
Awesome. Great. So coming down to my next question, so how do retailers monitor, improve, and develop categories through innovations and private labels? Of course, I mean you have developed more than 500 products in the private label space.
Hmm.
If you can share your experiences based on that.
See, initially the retailer would like to cover the private label into their top selling SKUs.
Sure.
So let's say if you go to a category of staple groceries,
Hmm.
okay, so you have a brand which is number one. You will have a challenger, which is number two, and then the number three would be your own private label.
Mhm.
Because uh, okay, that is the product which is me too product. Now
Right.
your question also asked, you have asked the question including the innovation,
Yeah.
of course. So including the innovations, when I say in innovations, uh, the small retail chains might not consider in a private label as an innovation,
Hmm.
because they would like to see the results of that innovation into a multinational brand before they come up to a private label.
Right.
But like a bigger retailers, world retailers like Walmart, Asda's, Carrefour's, and so on, they don't mind even to straight away go into innovation in a private label.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because what happens is that they make more money in the private label than the brand. because
Absolutely.
because what happens is that when the brand comes up with any product, they include a lot of other cost in it. So it's a
Yes.
marketing cost, is a sales and distribution cost, it is their the TV ads, or
Yes.
or the sampling activities and so on. But when you do a private label manufacturing, you get away with all the cost.
Yes.
so so
Right.
so you are doing your brand marketing rather than a product marketing.
Yes.
Okay, so for them to make more money on the private label becomes easier. So if they see a promising category which is an upcoming category, so let's say a healthy category, maybe a plant based products and so on. So they see that is a future for next maybe 5 to 10 years,
Mhm.
or maybe longer. They do not mind even investing straight away into innovations as well.
Right.
Yeah, but generally those innovations on the private labels will be taken care by the bigger retailers, not the smaller retailers,
Correct. Correct.
because the scale is required to sell the product. If
Yes.
you go to a manufacturer and say that I need to have 100 cases of private label, okay, if the manufacturer is smaller, he might fulfill your requirement.
Yeah.
But generally, in case of innovations, the manufacturer is not smaller. He's a bigger player already.
Yes.
And for them, producing 100 cases is too small and no interest. Rather than they will be looking at 100,000 cases.
Of course.
Okay. So the answer to your question is mixed. Innovation is very important in private label, but smaller retailers have their own restrictions towards it because of the volumes. Once the volumes convert into a bigger ones, then of course they are more than happy to have the innovation into a private label as well.
Right.
And of course, developing it is the private label also allows control over the marketing, because as I told you, they are not doing a product marketing, they are doing a brand marketing.
Yes.
Okay, allowing the retailer to tailor a product to a local needs.
Yes.
Okay, and the taste profile as well.
True.
So there's also control over the production. Okay, so what you can do is you can start with not a very small volume, but with a very decent volumes where the manufacturer is also encouraged to start your business into a private label. These private labels brand creates a lot of sense of loyalty as well, because if you go to a Tesco and you buy a Tesco related product, at back of mind you are assured that the product itself is being tested, had gone through a thorough process of quality assurance, quality checks, the taste profile, the product packaging, the price point. So, and it is also having a good brand name.
Right.
So overall experience of the product has to be good as well. So very important that there has to be a good packaging, but at the same time, the private label people have extra advantage because they can give a bigger display in their retail outlets as well.
Correct.
As compared to brands. So they will make it more visible for end consumer to buy.
Sure.
And a private label also have the potential to offer higher margins. Okay, so to supply supply efficiency, better control on overall operations.
Right.
Okay. And further, this can also lead to the higher consumer stickiness because they know your brand already.
True.
And thus it is a very critical element of overall business strategy as well.
Right.
And simplifying the choice, which is very overloaded, and now you're offering a private label with a better price than the brand leader. What else the consumer needs?
Right.
Because they want to have a product which is equally good as the brand leader and with a far better pricing.
Yes.
And if they get that, nothing like it. But what I have seen in that private label business, other than the bigger players, they have their full-fledged quality assurance team, quality control teams.
That's really critical.
Who are regularly visiting the plants, making sure that each and every batch has been inspected, thoroughly checked, and so on. But most of the smaller retailers, I would say at least 50 to 75% of the small retailers who have their private label does not have their even QC department.
Right.
They rely on manufacturers to give them a right product.
Yes.
And most of the time, if you have a good manufacturer, he'll ensure that the product is being maintained in the right way. But it is equally important that if your brand is associated, you need to have your own.
That's pretty much required. Yes.
It is required, but a lot of people, they do not do that. Yeah. So very much important. It is also largely due to the fact that retailer offer higher quality own brand products have helped them to minimize the amount of choice consumers have to do during their path of purchases.
Yes.
So because the the trust on that brand is already there.
Right.
So you are not thinking before buying it. Sometimes you buy just because you want to try it out.
Correct.
But if it was a third party brand, you might think whether, oh, whether should I buy or not. It's not about the price point. It's about the confidence on the brand.
Yes. Agree.
Okay. So that plays very important role in private label. And private label, for all the private label players, it is very important to have their own teams if they are very serious about having the private label product.
Right.
Without that, it would be waste of time on the private label strategy.
Yeah, and then of course, Sandeep ji, then I mean they would always be, reluctant or hesitant in the sense that if they don't have the confidence, then I mean it's not long term, right? So
absolutely,
we really, I mean, it would be better to have a team in place and have those processes set, which will ensure the right quality.
Very, very, very important. There is no second thought on this. There is no compromise.
Yes.
There is no compromise.
Awesome. So coming down to my last question for the session. So, I mean, you have spent a lot of time in UAE and of course, various other large geographies globally. So, I mean, how do you foresee the changing food landscape of the UAE market with the penetration of plant-based foods?
So I'll cut the question into two parts, to be honest.
Sure.
One is that the change in food habits. With the current generation is actually modernized. They are more evolved towards eating at different foods, so different cuisines rather than if you go back, maybe you're in my days, I would say, when we were in school 25 30 years ago, schools or college, I remember during my school days, we used to have a treat, okay, or outing once a month,
right?
And that too used to be a South Indian dosa, okay, which because at home you used to eat your homemade food,
right?
Which was a everyday thing. And once a month on a Sunday, your parents would take you to a outside, and then in the night when you come back, you come up with a dinner. And those days the choices were very little. You used to go for a South Indian meal, and that the dosa or idli used to be your thing.
Yes.
And now if I change in today's scenario and see after 30 years all odd, you see you have got, at least in smaller cities also, you have got at least 4 different cuisine choices.
Yes.
Which are 4 different international choices. State wise you have a regional choices separately.
Right.
So let's say you have got now Indian North Indian food, then you have got your South Indian food, which are popular. Over and above, you get Chinese food,
yes.
you get your Italians, you get your Mexican,
right?
Of course. And then of course everything is customized to what you call as the local taste profile. So like Indian Chinese is different than the authentic Chinese.
Of course. yeah.
So everybody has customized on that basis. Right. So today the choice what consumer has is wide. So and they are very open to do taste and trial. Not like previously that you used to stick to one brand and one product.
Yes.
So coming back to the changing of food habits is playing a very important role in terms of products innovation. And also it keeps manufacturers or the brand owners on their toes to ensure that they constantly work towards it.
Right.
Okay. If there is no innovation in the brand,
you're lost.
Yeah. Okay. So coming back to your second part of the question, which is plant-based. Of course, the world is converting their eating habits from the meat eaters to a vegetarian, or vegans, even up to the vegans. A lot of people are vegetarian, but now you see more and more people are converting from vegetarians to vegans.
Yes.
Okay. Now with that change of food habits, the penetration of plant-based food is definitely going to grow for next 10 to 15 years
Correct.
minimum.
Correct.
And if you see, I'm clubbing your question, this question with your previous question, with your private label innovation. Now, in this particular category, if you remember, I did mention plant-based.
Yeah.
Now, in this category, the retailer will not mind if they want to do an innovation into a plant-based,
Right.
because they know this product is not short-term;
Yes.
it's going to be long-term. Of course,
True.
the volumes in short-term will be smaller,
True.
but this is the base to start. So, of course, healthy eatings are getting improved with choices of cuisines, and if I get a same taste profile from the plant based similar to a meat, why do I need to eat meat?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. And there is a lot of awareness happening. If you see, I'll give you a very simple example of one of my friend's son.
Sure.
Okay, who used to be a non-vegetarian, because they are a family of non-vegetarian eaters. Okay, and one day we were driving together in the car, and there was a truck uh, going in front of us, and they had the goats. So in that, so they said, why? His question was, he was too young. He asked the question, why so many goats are in one truck? We said 5 people in a car, but why so many goats are there in the truck? Okay, so we have to explain him that these goats are going to the farms. So his next question immediate was, why they are going to farms? So we had to answer him that they are going to for farms, and because they need to process the food. Say, what kind of food is being processed? Okay, so you have to give them that you like the lamb biryani. He says yes. So he says, where the lamb comes from? He says, I don't know. So he says, lamb comes from the goats, but they are the living beings. His next question was, so he said, yeah. So he says, why? So if we eat, they kill them. We said, yes, they kill them. And that day till today, he's 20 years old, and his question was, at the age of 6 or 7, 13 years, he has converted himself to a vegetarian, and that not by force. It was by choice, only with a simple question.
Yes. That question was asked by him only.
Of course. So the awareness, if you can see, not only in the our kind of a generation, but it is also happening in the schools. It is happening in the colleges. It is more
Yes.
towards, you can see more on the TV. There are dedicated programs
Yes.
towards. So the eating habits are converting from the non-vegetarian to a vegetarian or vegan meals. There is no second thought that in the matured modern world, uh, plant-based food will be equally important as any other product.
Right.
I would say it's not only a product. In future, it could be a category.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so that
And
is
I
my
mean,
that is my take on it.
if the let's say if the product is such that, I mean, if it tends to become a category, it has a huge potential, right? Because
Of course,
yeah,
of course,
then it will attract more brands and more let's say across categories, then it can grow.
very true. You know, while we are talking, I would say more than 100 top brands worldwide are already working on their R&Ds on plant-based.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah, some might launch, some may not. Okay, but for sure there is R&D happening right as we
Yes.
speak.
Yes, I'm sure.
Yeah. So if 100 brands, top 100 brands, are investing millions and billions, not millions, even billions of
Yes.
dollars on their studies, you can imagine, of course, there is a great scope in that category as well.
True.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, I mean, Sandeep ji, the kind of responses which you have given were, I mean, absolutely tremendous. And I really enjoyed our conversation as well. So, thank you so much once again for coming on this show. Really appreciate your time once again.
Thank you, Dhaval, for invitation. And it was really my pleasure to share whatever little experience I have